In today's lesson, you are going to learn how to speak about different generations in English. Millennials? Gen Z? Baby boomers? What? It's really important to know this terminology because you will hear it online, in the news, movies, series, everywhere really. People love speaking about the generations, especially their own generation. So please, at the end of this lesson, please let me know in the comments which generation you belong to, and I'll let you know mine as well. My name's Arnell. Let's start. First of all, what is a generation? A generation is a group of people who were born around the same time. I live in this house, my parents live in this house, and my grandma lives in this house. There are 3 generations under one roof. Do you have any family photos with 3 generations? Or maybe even 4 generations? That's really rare nowadays. Each generation has its own name. Let's start from the very beginning. Number 1, the greatest generation. This describes the people who were born between 1901 and 1927. 1901 and 1927. My great-grandma is part of the greatest generation. She is almost 100 years old. In English, we can use great like this. I have my mother, my grandma, and my great-grandma. I have my uncle, and then my great-uncle. Great is used to show one extra generation older than the standard relative. Are your great-grandparents still alive? My grandpa, who was part of the greatest generation, used to tell me stories about his childhood without electricity. The silent generation. People born between 1928 and 1945. 1928 and 1945. I was wondering, why is this generation called the silent generation? Silent means quiet or no noise. Apparently, they were called the silent generation because they were very traditional and followed the rules. They didn't protest, they didn't argue, they were silent. I always thought they were called the silent generation because of silent movies. The movies that were black and white without sound? We call those silent movies. Imagine I was from the silent generation. My lessons would be like, anyway, I was wrong. That's not why they're called the silent generation. People in the silent generation grew up hearing news about World War II on the radio. My great aunt from the silent generation learned to type on a manual typewriter at school. Grow up. This is a phrasal verb I'll be repeating throughout this lesson. Definition: to go from a child to adult. I was born in Mesa, Arizona, but I grew up in Germany. Where did you grow up? Frank grew up on a farm. Baby boomers. This generation is one of the most mentioned in the news. You might often just hear them called boomers. Boomers. They were born between 1946 and 1964. 1946 to 1964. Where does this name come from? Boomer. What's that? Well, when there's an explosion, there is a boom sound. The boom refers to the big increase of births after the Second World War. It was like a big Explosion of babies. Many baby boomers are now retired. Baby boomers were the first adults to take their children to video rental stores. Next one, Generation X, also called Gen X. These people were born between 1965 and 1980. Gen Xers. Gen Xers grew up during big changes in society. This is the first generation where it was common to have both parents working. Before that, traditionally, only fathers worked. Because both parents were working, Gen Xers often came home to an empty house after school. Kids who had to get into their homes themselves were called latchkey kids. Latchkey kids. They had their own key. This term, latchkey kids, is a bit old-fashioned now. Now we wouldn't call kids latchkey kids, but you will still hear this term, like in this article from a month ago. Gen X latchkey kids share their funniest and most frightening home alone stories. They are home alone because both parents are working. Generation X is sometimes called the latchkey generation because many kids came home alone after school. My cousin, a Generation X member, remembers using floppy disks at school. Floppy disks. Millennials. My generation. I am a millennial. Millennial. Born 1981 to 1996. 1981 to 1996. And in today's lesson, these dates are approximate. Different sources might give you slightly different years. Where does the term millennial come from? A millennium is a period of 1,000 years. So millennials grew up around the year 2000. Millennials are also called Generation Y or simply Gen Y. Many millennials grew up using the internet for the first time. Millennials were the first generation to use social media like Facebook and Instagram. Millennials are richer now, so why can't they stop worrying? Millennials are richer? Really? Don't forget to let me know which generation you are from. Let me know in the comments. I'm really curious. Next one. Generation Z, or often called Gen Z. You can see so far we've had Gen X, Y, millennials, and now Z. Born 1997 to 2012. We can say 2012 or 2012. 2012, 2012. Yep, the and is optional. Generation Z is the first generation to grow up with smartphones, high-speed internet, and social media from a very young age. My little brother is Gen Z, and he learned to use a tablet before he could read. Here's a headline: the world's best cities for Gen Z to live in, according to Gen Z. And here is another article that mentions 3 generations. Sorry, Gen X, boomers are making millennials their successors for CEO jobs instead because they're down with AI. What does this headline mean? Let's simplify it. Boomers choose millennials, not Gen X, to be new CEOs because millennials like using AI. Down with something. This is slang. If you are down with something, it means you like it or agree with it. Are you down with AI? Next generation, Generation Alpha. It's funny, the last generation was Gen Z, and now we're back to Alpha. You belong to Generation Alpha if you were born between the years 2013 and 2024. We can say 2013, 2024, or 2013, 2024. Different possibilities. Generation Alpha children watch cartoons on YouTube instead of TV. Many Generation Alpha kids had online classes during the COVID-19 pandemic. Generation Alpha will grow up fully in the age of artificial intelligence. Gen Alpha slang words like skibidi added to Cambridge Dictionary. We are so cooked. Yeah, I have no idea how to pronounce skibidi.
Skippity,
Skibidi.
skippity,
So not skibidi. It's once again
skippity.
skibidi. Whatever. Okay, I had to look this up, clearly. I had no idea what skibidi means. According to Cambridge Dictionary, it is a word that can have different meanings, such as cool or bad, or can be used with no real meaning as a joke. And cooked, in trouble. Our last generation, Generation Beta, birth years 2025 to 2039. Let's look at that pronunciation again. 2025, 2039, or 2025, 2039. My cousin's baby will be Generation Beta because she is due in 2026. Due means will be born. Like, when is your baby due? When will your baby be born? One day, Generation Beta might use technology so advanced it feels like science fiction today. Move over Gen Alpha. 2025 marks the start of the Gen Beta era. Here we have it, all the generations you need to know. Which generation are you? Please let me know. It would be so skibbity if you let me know. I hope this lesson helped you, and I can't wait to make another one for you. Thank you for watching. See you next time.